Hey, hi everybody. This is Stacy Cabral, and we're here with the Monday Night Ignite calls. Just had a fabulous call with Dr. Doug Corrigan, and right now we're going to Julie Callis, and she's going to be sharing tips of creating loyalty among customers and brand partners. And she's going to be sharing all the different ways that she does that personally with her group right now. She's a platinum with Young Living, and we're so excited to hear her information and share what we can do with our teams as well. So thank you, Julie, and welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much, Stacy. Can y'all hear me? Everything good? Okay. All right. Like Stacy said, I'm Julie Callis. I am a platinum leader with Young Living. To be honest, I'm mostly a gold leader, but platinum's been my highest rank, and it is such a joy to get to talk to y'all tonight. I have loved these calls over the last few months, and it's been such an asset for my team as well. In fact, my sister, she listens to every call and plays the replays and sends them onto her team. And it's just been such a blessing for our team. So thank you to all of y'all who have organized this, and Jill for just kickstarting this. It's been fantastic. So I have been with Young Living for 7 years. And I started out for a lot of the same reasons that many of you did. I had a daughter who was constantly in that sick cycle, and we were just super hopeful to get her, break that cycle and get her into a state of wellness. And within just a short period of time, we broke that cycle and have not shut up about oil since. I also personally had an experience where I had headaches from the age of 12 up until I was 30 when I started using oils. Figured out that it was due to all the fragrance I was using and those Clorox wipes and, you know, all that good stuff in my house. And when I realized that, again, I decided this has to be pursued. This has to be something that our family is diving into. So I was pregnant with my son at the time. I was about 8 months pregnant with him when I started sharing and started growing my business. And at that point, I didn't know there was an excuse, to not share. And I didn't know that having a newborn carried along to all of my classes was something that people use as an excuse, like, oh, well, I've got a new baby. Well, he just went with me. He was the little mascot at all my classes, and we grew pretty quickly. And at that point, this was 2015, we had an incentive in place called Silver and Six, which is very similar to what we are looking at right now with the Rise to Rank Challenge. In fact, the Rise to Rank Challenge is a lot better than what we had at the time. But my incentive at that point, and a lot of you guys who are probably on this call also chased after the Aroma Complete. At the time, it was called the Aroma Complete. You got the big, ugly maroon bag of oils. It had 120 oils in it. And we were so excited to run from executive to silver in 6 months and get that bag. I did achieve that on my 6th month. And at that point, I was so passionate about my business that it was an exciting achievement, but I knew it was just the beginning. And so I want to encourage you guys, as we are jumping into Rise to Rank, as we are preparing for this season of really growing and achieving and building our team and enrolling lots of new people, that we look at it from a perspective of sustainability and not just running after a prize and stopping there. I know that one of the reasons that they stopped the Silver and Six at the time that we had it was because people were just racing for that prize, and then they would disappear and leave their people behind, and then their teams would fall apart, and it just lost its purpose. So thankfully that didn't happen with our team. There were several of us growing our businesses together at the same time, and our passion stayed in flame, and we kept going. And so here we are 7 years later, right? So I want to talk to you about some ways that you can pursue the Rise to Rank Challenge, that you can pursue getting to executive and receiving that beautiful Select 30 kit and the diffuser, and hitting silver and receiving the Premier Aroma Collection, which is a fabulous prize with the Aria diffuser. It is so exciting. And I have leaders on my team who are really excited to get back to silver or hit it for the first time. But I don't want anyone to burn themselves out and get to a place where they don't continue growing and they don't continue serving and loving their people. So one of my mantras that I've had for the last 3 or 4 years is that my members, my brand partners, my customers, they feel seen, heard, and loved in all aspects of my business and how I serve them. And so the funny and kind of ironic thing to me is the way that I make them feel seen, heard, and loved is by having systems in place. And systems is kind of that boring term for follow up and doing your tasks and making sure that you are taking care of your team in a really task oriented way. But systems for me is about, first of all, being efficient, but also not letting anyone fall between the cracks. I would be so heartbroken if I started enrolling and I started, running after this rise to rank, and I had all these new members and they slip between the cracks. They didn't ever hear from me again. And, maybe they made that one purchase, but they didn't join subscription. Maybe they just didn't know what products to try next. They didn't have a plan in place. They didn't have education to fall into. And so my heart and my desire for my team and for my leaders who are working on growing their teams is that we have a place where everyone can feel seen, heard, and loved, and that they have an opportunity to learn and grow in our community. So I'm an Enneagram 3. And when you're an Enneagram 3, typically you really don't want to be put into a box. You really don't want a system. I didn't want anyone giving me a system to follow. And so for me, I really needed to create my own systems that worked for me. And that's what I tell everybody is when you are working your business, if the system doesn't work for you, you're not going to use it, right? And Jill just said that. The only system that will work is the one that is for you. And so I'm going to share with you guys the systems that I use because I believe that they have taken my team to a place where there is so much loyalty between my customers and my loyal customers, my subscription customers, and my brand partners. And so I'm going to share those, but I also want you to give yourself the grace to take them and make them your own. And I'll give you some tools along the way. So here we go. Y'all ready? I'm going to take another clarity breathe. Danette taught me how to breathe in oils like this, right, Danette? Okay. All right. So loyalty is a huge reason that residual income even works. If we didn't have customers join our company and place their first order and get on subscription, then they wouldn't really be customers, right? They wouldn't be loyal. They would just be a wisp in the wind and they'd be gone, and we'd have to find new customers to fill their place. So the cool thing about the first part of every month is that we start every month with promised commission, promised volume from the people who are on subscription. And so obviously our goal is to make sure that all of our customers are on subscription and all of them are taking advantage of our products every single month. So you've enrolled this person, you hope that they choose to be loyal to Young Living, and goodness, wouldn't it be wonderful if you were paid on them as long as they're loyal and that you receive a paycheck on that enrollment every single month? So how do we build loyalty into our business? This is a culture where loyalty is not real common. People have the attention span of a gnat. They don't want to commit to certain companies. They don't want to commit to a lifestyle. And it just feels like we are kind of in a culture where loyalty isn't really sexy, right? So it comes down to us. It comes down to how we take care of our people and love our people. So I'm going to give you some touch points. Now, I really want you to keep in mind that this is not about managing your team. This is about creating systems so that your team members don't fall between the cracks and that you have time in your space, that you're not constantly doing management, so that you have time in your routine to enroll and to mentor your people and to really spend time with your people. So again, we're not managing, we are putting systems in place to take care of our people really well. And I do want to touch on the fact that we can create loyalty with our prospects. I currently have some prospects who are loyal to me because we have been social media friends. We talk back and forth. I engage in their life. I'm interested in them. One of my favorite quotes is to not be the most interesting person, but the most interested person in the room. So I don't want everything to be all about me. When I'm in a conversation, I want to make sure I really get to the heart of the person that I want to be on my team. So I serve my prospects in a lot of different ways. On social media, my husband and I, we talk a lot about food and nutrition. And so we set aside our Sunday afternoons to do a food chat every Sunday afternoon where we talk about a certain topic having to do with nutrition, like maybe how to help our kid who is a picky eater, like tools for helping your kids eat more healthy. Meal ideas, breakfast ideas, that kind of thing. We're always serving our audience that way. And we have gained some faithful followers who tune in every single Sunday. So my tip for that is if you have a passion that's not specifically Young Living related or oils related, really love on them, pour into them with that passion. Maybe it's crochet. One of my friends just went to a crochet class and now she's like bursting with excitement about all the things she's going to start making. And so she's going to incorporate that into her social media aside from just sharing about oils. My sister, she and her fiance just bought a bus. And it's one of those beat down buses and they're renovating it. And so they've collected followers who are just interested in learning about them through learning about, their bus project. And so she's serving them with that, but she's also educating on oils and nutrition and wellness. So don't just talk about oils, share some free resources. One thing that I do every quarter is I offer an Empower group. And that is something that my friend April and I, she's a Crossline Platinum friend of mine, we put together 30 days of education for our teams to go share with their prospects and their members. And we actually put it in Oil Supply Store, so you guys can go check it out and purchase it. But it's 30 days of content, it's compliant, but it's a way of serving our prospects. So I'll go to my social medias or I'll go to my prospect list and I'll say, all right, guys, we are going, oh, Jill, that's awesome. She says she made hers into a 12-day email drip or text drip. Yay. She's been using Empower groups. Thank you for that. We're actually also working on converting it into an Instagram format as well right now. But anyway, so we invite our people into 30 days of learning about natural living. And for me personally, it's the 30 days of the things that I wish I had known before I started using Young Living. And I want to invite my prospects into learning that. And they have an opportunity to order. But a lot of the things I'm sharing with them are not even Young Living related. We could be talking about oil, about water purity. We can be talking about sleep tips, and it's not all oil related. So that also builds some trust and loyalty there. And also we do have a 10% off discount code. It's just Empower. So Jill, you can put that in there with the link. 10% off Empower is just the discount code. I engage in their stories. Like I said, one fun thing that I like to do is occasionally ask for advice. So recently I asked for tips on hard-boiled eggs because all of mine were just peeling terribly and they looked awful. They looked like they'd been through a war when I would peel them. And so I would peel them and they looked awful. So I said, okay, guys, I need some help. Like, give me all your tips for making hard-boiled eggs. And I had tons and tons of tips. And then just the other day, my 6-year-old son, he's getting into reading. And I was like, okay, he's reading my daughter's Junie B. Jones and Babysitter's Club books. Like we need some like really fun adventure books for him because, this is not doing the trick. And I had hundreds, and y'all, I'm not a social media influencer. I had so many suggestions on books for him the other day. And And it just showed me that people love to give their advice. And that is a great way to engage with people and to build loyalty with them, is like, oh, well, I have something to offer her. And you know what? She has something to offer me too. So that's been really fun. And that's been a fun way to engage with people. Another thing is samples. We have a lot of products that are sampleable. Some of my favorites are Thieves Lozenges, Thieves Cleaner. One of my favorite tips is to offer out, hey guys, I would love for you to try Thieves Cleaner. You would not believe what a difference it's made in my life. I had chronic headaches for years and years until I found out it was my Clorox wipes that were causing the headaches, and Thieves Cleaner helped me break that cycle. Would you like to try it? And, you know, I have 5 of these samples. So I'll send the sample, but I'll also send resources with it. So I have, Aaron and I wrote a book, and it's an oil supply store. It's called Simply Home, and it gives lots of home tips. But if you have a packet of Thieves Cleaner, you can use a lot of the recipes in there to use and try out your Thieves Cleaner. So that's a good way to get things in their hands and to get them interested and build that loyalty. If you're willing to give out samples, then they know that you are willing to invest in that relationship. Y'all can put in the comments if there are any other samples that you like to give out. One of my favorites is to put the insect repellent in a roller and share that with people during the summer. Ningxia packets, of course, Stress Away, lavender lotion. We have so many great samples. Thieves toothpaste. My friend Jen, she always says, don't be a friend who's weird. Just don't be weird. We can get in our heads sometimes and only talk about oils with our friends, or only talk about oils, you know, in group situations. But, and then sometimes our friends can feel like we are not interested in anything but talking to them about oils. So let's have a real relationship that's going to go a long way. They know what you do. They know that you love your oils, and chances are when they're ready and when the opportunity comes up, they're going to ask you anyway. So be approachable, be pushy. Those are some of my tips for prospects. Okay, so now you've enrolled your prospect and they're a new member. Do we start to treat them differently? Do we treat them like a customer now? No, let's still not be weird. Let's still continue that friendship and continue that relationship. But we also want to make sure that they don't fall between the cracks, and that we have a system in place so that we don't go weeks and weeks without them hearing from you. So I just had a new member join the other day, and I was getting her welcome kit ready. So I wanted to show you that. It's really important to get resources in their hands within 24 hours. So if that's mailing them a box of goodies, or sending them a text or email with maybe your Facebook group links, an offer for more education. So maybe you've got a class that would be great for them, hooking them up with the Life Steps app. If you guys don't have Life Steps, it is a fantastic resource for getting education into your customers and your prospects' hands. Shouting them out, making sure that they feel seen again, and making them feel like they have a seat at the table. So for a new member, I had a girl yesterday purchase a premium starter kit. So when she gets that premium starter bundle, I know what she's receiving. I know what's in her box. So I'm going to make sure she has rollers. Got 2 rollers in here. Also capsules. And for the people who think, oh, capsules, that's kind of weird. I don't know if I'll ever ingest oils. I always say to them, hey, you may not think that you're going to ingest oils right now, but 3 months down the road, when you text me and you ask me what to do for XYZ, I'll say, hey, friend, you know what? I know that you have a pack of capsules in that box I gave you. So why don't you go ahead and make a capsule full of digize and peppermint and take it and tell me how it goes. So I make sure that these are in their hand. They may not buy them otherwise. And this box comes from Oil Supply Store. And I always tell Erin is actually a close personal friend of mine, and I'm her assistant. So if I talk about Oil Supply Store a lot, it's because I'm around it all the time. I'm her assistant for her oils business. And then she also has some girls who run the Oil Supply Store who are fantastic. But I use these resources all the time because honestly, we talk about, hey, what do you need to run this business? And And I'm always saying to her, I need this, this, and this. And then she's like, all right, we'll make that. So I feel like I'm a walking billboard for our oil supply store all the time. Yes, somebody just asked, do the boxes come with these? Yes, so the box comes with the capsules, the roller, 2 of the nasal inhalers, which is always fun to explain to people because you know what they look like. They look like tampons. And there are recipes that go with those. There's also a little welcome card. And there's a welcome book, and it's Erin's book called Simply Wellness. And it's a overall view of our lifestyle, of our products and what we offer. It has roller recipes, capsule recipes, diffuser recipes, all that good stuff in there. And it covers all of our other products as well. But then I also like, if I'm going to deliver it in person or mail it from my house, you can mail it from oil supply store directly to your new customer. But if I'm going to mail it from my house, I'm also going to throw in some samples. So I know with their starter kit, I know they got Ningxia, so I'm not going to give them Ningxia. I also know that they got the hand sanitizer, but they didn't get thieves cleaner. So I'm going to put a packet of thieves cleaner in there. And then I also have some samples from beauty school boxes. If you are not familiar with this, beauty school comes with kind of like a lifetime club membership where you can order the beauty box every quarter that they put out. And this month, Young Living, if you purchase the beauty box from Young Living, it has samples of our Bloom products in there, which is fantastic for sampling out our Bloom line, right? So I try to keep some of these on hand, and you can get the beauty box in the virtual office. And I think it's like $55, something like that, but you get a set of samples to send out, which is so awesome. All right, so that's the welcome kit that I send to new customers. Now, we have a new system and a new website, and we have a lot of customers coming in with maybe, I don't know, 25 PV. Deborah asked the cost of the welcome kit. You know what? I'm not sure. I think it's between $10 and $12. I don't do a whole lot with the business side of that store. You can look online with the link. Where was I going? Oh, if someone purchases maybe just a bottle of thieves cleaner, I'm not going to send them a whole welcome box because it was just 25 PV and my commission is 25% of that. And so I don't have as much wiggle room to spend on their welcome box. So I may send them the Simply Home booklet, which would just cost me a couple of stamps to mail and a few dollars to purchase. So I try to weigh it based on PV, but also there are plenty of customers that I give them the whole thing because I want to make sure that they are set. I think the most important thing though is to make sure that they understand that they are surrounded with resources and that you are there to provide those resources to them and that you are a resource for them. Okay, so current customers, once they're past the new member stage, I wanted to read you a quote from Simon Sinek. He wrote a book called Start With Why. That is one of my all-time favorite business books. I think he is absolutely brilliant. But he talks a lot about loyalty in that book. And so here's a quote from him. It says, "There's a big difference between repeat business and loyalty. Repeat business is when people do business with you multiple times, but loyalty is when they're willing to turn down a better product or a better price to continue doing business with you. Loyal customers often don't even bother to research the competition or entertain other options. Loyalty is not easily won." Aren't those the customers that we want? We want them to not even research the competition. We want them to see those other oils online or the oils that they walk by in the store and not even give them a second glance because they know that our oils are the best, right? And we have an opportunity to help build that loyalty. I wanted to share with you some tips for building loyalty with our current customers, but I also wanted to tell you a story. Richard Blissbrook is a diamond with Young Living. And I don't know him personally. So I'm telling his story after hearing it from several other people. And I think I heard it from a video he did. So Jill, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Jill or Stacy. But Richard Blissbrook, he wrote The 4-Year Career. He is a veteran of the network marketing community for decades. He is a coach. He's a trainer. He is just a giant in our industry. And he used to own a network marketing company. And he would train a lot on network marketing and how to be a great business builder and how to be a great recruiter. And he found that most network marketing companies have a 5 or less % retention rate. If you had an 8% retention rate, you were doing awesome. Like you were rocking and rolling if you had 8% retention rate. So what does that translate for us? Retention means having customers who come back to you every single month, right? And what is our retention rate with Young Living? It's between 30 and 40%. Yeah, it's unheard of. That doesn't happen in network marketing. That tells you that our products are above and beyond the rest. Our products are life-changing. Like we were just hearing earlier tonight, these products have power. And so we don't have an 8% retention. We have 30 to 40 and higher % retention with Young Living. So get this, when he came to understand that, Richard Blissbrook sold his network marketing company and he became a Young Living distributor. And he became a diamond pretty quickly because he also understands the concept of loyalty, and he had a very loyal team who came with him. To have that many people loyal to a company is just unheard of in our industry, and it truly does set us apart. But we also need to remember that with our new website, it's a lot easier to become a customer with just one product. And we all know that just one product doesn't necessarily make us loyal to our lifestyle. And so that's where we come in, and that's where education is really important for us. I wanted to read you a couple more quotes. This is actually a statistic. 43% of customers will spend more on brands that they are loyal to than brands that they are not. So they'll spend more. And we're a great example of that. I'm pretty sure the lavender oil at Walmart is not $23.50, but ours is much better. 93% of your customers will most likely come back for another purchase with you if their previous experience was good. So speaking of previous experience, we want to make sure that our customers are happy, right? Customer service is strong. And I found another quote that says, delighting customers doesn't build loyalty. It's reducing their effort, the work that they must do to get their problem solved, that builds loyalty. So when one of my customers or one of my subscription members or one of my brand partners has an issue, and they go to customer service and maybe it doesn't get resolved the way that they want, or maybe the customer service line is 3 hours long, like it was last August. We know that those seasons happen. We know that business is business, and there are seasons when customer service is a little bit harder. And during this last season with COVID and employment issues and all of that, we know that customer service is not always perfect. But we have an opportunity to step in and be a person who represents our customers and brings them back with good answers and with help and with something that resolves their problem. And the loyalty comes back to both us and to Young Living. So I like to make sure that when one of my customers has an issue, say it's something more than just a bottle was missing from their box. Like maybe they ordered a month and a half ago and they still don't have their order and there's no tracking in the system and they don't know what to do. I will reach out to my customer service help and I will ask for a replacement order if that is appropriate. I will ask them for additional loyalty points, and Young Living will honor that. They will give additional loyalty points. Someone just asked, how do you approach getting their PIN? I ask for it. I straight up ask for their PIN. When I enroll people, I recommend that they use the last 4 digits of their phone number for their PIN so that I will be able to help them and serve them on their behalf without having to track down their PIN later on. And that's just been a really helpful tool. And people don't hesitate to give it over if it's going to make a difference in their customer service. So, I don't want it to become a crutch. I don't want people to not use customer service because I don't need to chase down every single issue. Oh, and yes, Sheila just said you don't need to set up a pin when new customers start right now. They're all 0000 right now. So if they joined in July till now, it's just 4 zeros, which is nice. So I do ask Young Living if they'll add additional loyalty points. And I will also, I just want to be the one who personally helps them and reduces their effort. And that does build loyalty, both for me and for Young Living. Okay, so educating our people. Don't just plug them in with your uplines resource group or the grow group, or, send them a booklet and peace out. That's not a way to build loyalty. That's not a way to build education. Remember that you're the person that they enrolled with. So you offering them education, connection points, tips, you're the one that's going to be the best source of creating brand loyalty with Young Living. So they're not going to be as loyal to an upline leader. For instance, if I enroll my new customer and I stick her in Erin's groups and I say, okay, well, good luck. You can find everything you need in there. She's not going to be loyal to someone she's never met. And so it's going to be a lot easier for her to just switch over to another company when she doesn't get the answer that she wants and leave because she doesn't feel loyal to the group that she's been put into. So staying present is a great way, again, to build loyalty. Educating doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be an expert on your oils. You don't have to know the desk reference front and back, but you need to start somewhere. So here are a few ideas. My sister is an executive and she started a group chat on Facebook Messenger with all of her customers. And it's, she's got like 75 people, I think, in there, and some of them are in there, some of them are not, but she does her best. And she drops in education every day or every other day. They know that they can ask questions in there. They also know that they have access to my Facebook group and Erin's Facebook group. But that is the place where they feel comfortable asking questions because it's a smaller setting, and they know Carrie, and she's providing them with tips beyond just what's coming from my group and from Erin's group and other resources. Educate through your social media stories. I like to do a lot of double duty. Like today, I made a reel and it was kind of a goofy, silly reel. And I was talking about hair and having healthy hair and the things I'm using for healthy hair, but I duplicated it. So I also took that same video and put it in my Facebook group. I also duplicated it and put it on my Facebook feed. And I'm probably going to also send it out in an email tip or a text tip. So reuse your education. When you're digging into something and you're wanting to teach on a particular product, make sure that you're putting it maybe in your Instagram stories, on your Facebook feed, on your Instagram feed, in your Facebook group, because as you all know, Facebook algorithms and Instagram algorithms do not work in our favor. Most people see about 7% of what you post, which is kind of a depressing statistic for using social media, but it is true. So use all your resources and make your time valuable by using the same content over and over in different areas. Someone just asked if I use YouTube. I do some, not as much as I probably should. I do some business training that I upload into YouTube, but not a lot of product education. Also grab a reference book or any oils book that you have and teach on it. So I could grab this Simply Wellness book and I could start talking about all of the Thieves product line. I could talk about the top 30 oils that we love and why we love them. You could do it in video form. You can do it in a post. You could take a picture of the page and share it and ask for people to share their favorite oil. Use your resources for education. They're there for a reason. Don't just let them get dusty on your shelf, because I tend to do that. I have a whole bookshelf full of oil resources and I don't always use them. Again, try to be compliant, especially in public, but with your private Facebook groups, just remember that people love to screenshot and share it on their page. So I really try hard to not be screenshot sharing anything non-compliant. And non-compliant meaning, if you're new, meaning education on oils that is diagnosing, talking about treatment with oils, talking about using oils like you would a drug or a prescription. Thankfully, oils are not drugs and prescriptions, right? So I try not to be screenshot or recorded or anything saying anything that could get me into trouble or get Young Living into trouble. Okay, serving your current customers also means knowing them really well and taking notes on your conversations. If you are familiar with your virtual office, there is a place to add notes on each person in your downline. And I use that pretty regularly. That is actually where I keep their PIN. That's where I keep any notes on things I've sent them. So when I send this to Angela, I'm going to put notes on which samples she got and that she got the welcome kit from Oil Supply Store. And maybe I'm going to add in another little booklet. I'm not sure. We'll see. So I'll put notes about that so that when I go to send her something else in the future, she doesn't receive a duplicate and think, man, am I just a cog in her machine? Like, does she even know me? I want to make sure I have notes about everything that I send. I also make notes about their family or life circumstances so that when I reach out to them, maybe with a postcard, I love sending out oil postcards. I may say something like, hey, it looks like you had a great vacation. Just wanted to check in, say, hey, tell you I was thinking about you. That goes so far for loyalty and building that relationship a little deeper. I keep notes on which products they ask about or out of stock products that they are looking for, because it helps me trigger in my mind, oh, when I see something about that, I can tag that person. I also keep a note in my notes for out of stock products and just a list of people who I know are waiting for certain out of stock products so I can tag them. Now, guys, I have a pretty big team. I can't keep track of every single one of those, but if I can help 1 or 2 people or 5 people feel seen and feel heard, I'm going to do that. And we call it micro work, right? We're doing the micro work to build those relationships because they're going to last a long time. And we want these customers to be lifelong, and we want them to remember these things when they're building their business. Doesn't take a lot of time and effort, but it really does go a long way. Another thing with my customers is I show gratitude all day long. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And these postcards, again, from Oil Supply Store. Here I am, little Vanna White Oil Supply Store. These postcards go a long way. These are diffuser postcards. She also has some fun lifestyle postcards that just came out. And one of my favorite things to do is run the report of my last order date. So if you are familiar with your virtual office, we have lots of different reports. They're not super intuitive, but there's 2 of them that I always recommend people look at. And one is called last order date, and that tells you who ordered most recently. So you actually know who's placing orders. Otherwise, we don't really see when, Aunt Debbie, who hasn't ordered in 6 months, pops in and grabs herself a 100 PV order. We don't see that unless we're looking at that report or unless we're unclicking our whole downline. So when I see that Aunt Debbie placed an order, I grab one of my postcards and I write her name on it and I stick it on my stack of other postcards that I'm going to mail out. And I carry that little stack around with me to the car line. Maybe, I have it with me if I'm in a waiting room somewhere, and I'll just take that time and write a note to that person and get it in the mail as soon as I can. So I don't always write the note right away, but I add it to my stack and I carry it around with my stack of people who need postcards. My favorite thing to do is to send it to people who are not on subscription and place a recent order, because I want to thank them for their loyalty. I always use the language, thank you so much for your loyalty to the Young Living. Thank you for supporting my business. It's not icky. It's not salesy. It's not weird. People like to be thanked for their purchase, right? Doesn't it feel really good when someone reaches out and notices that you placed an order and that you purchased from them? Again, that builds more loyalty. For my subscription members, I send them a thank you text when their subscription order goes through. I do that weekly. And I also send out reminder texts for some of my team, not my whole team, with their upcoming subscription order. And the report in the virtual office to use for that is called Forecast PV. And that shows you what their subscription amount is going to be. And you can notice, hey, so-and-so only has 99 PV set for her subscription order that's going through this week. Uh-oh, I better tell her to go ahead and add a lip balm so that she gets free shipping. What does that do? That instills more loyalty. They're so thankful that you noticed and you picked it. You picked up on that. So this may not be a fun task. This may not be something that is, really glamorous about our job, but it is extremely important and really helpful for helping our customers feel seen, heard, and loved, and to be loyal. Someone just asked, does that work though for people that get something every 3 months? Yes, it does. So that's why when I send them a postcard, I pick different ones. I send seasonal ones. So I've got a spring, a summer, a fall, a winter. So they're not getting repeat postcards. Brittany, I get my postcards from Oil Supply Store. And yes, Debbie, this is being recorded. So I think it's really helpful for someone to receive a postcard repetitively. If I was placing an order every 3 months and I got a thank you note each time, I would get the warm and fuzzies from that. And I do encourage my brand partners to do the same thing. I don't do this for my entire team because, as your team grows, you want brand partners to take ownership. And we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so some tasks are not super fun, but our customers will be super thankful when we notice things for them and we help them with things, and it does build more loyalty. Okay, so non-subscription members, did you know that there is a report in Oily Trends? Oily Trends is an app. There's a report, well, I don't see the name of it, but it shows you who places a bunch of different orders and isn't on subscription, and it shows you how many points they're missing out on, how many loyalty points. Let me see if I can find it really fast. So the Oily Trends app is very cool. I may not be able to find it fast enough. If someone knows the name of that report, go ahead and put it in the comments. But I could reach out to somebody and say, hey, it looks like you've placed 6 orders in the last year. Did you know that if you were on subscription, you would have gotten 94 loyalty points? That's $94. That's also a great way to build loyalty with your members who are not on subscription. Again, send thank you notes, offer more opportunities for education, continue to have monthly classes, in-person classes, just continually educating so that our customers know that this lifestyle is worth being loyal to. Okay, so brand partners. How do we create loyal brand partners and really cultivate that in your relationships? Listen, 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 listen. And I'm learning that I shouldn't constantly be going into our group chat and talking at them, but I need to be asking them questions and listening to them and listening to their needs and finding out what they want from Young Living, what their goals are, what they hope to achieve. And we are at a point right now with Rise to Rank that is a great opportunity to really rebuild some of those relationships if you have kind of broken off a little bit with some of your brand partners who maybe haven't been as active. It helps to put them in a group chat together where you can share inspiring ideas. You can tap them on the shoulder and ask them to help with a project. So for instance, if we had an upcoming class, say a Valentine's Day class where we did like oils and romance, I would tap my brand partners on the shoulder and say, hey, I need 4 of us on Wednesday night to get on Facebook Live and do a class, and we can split up the posts. But tapping on them on the shoulder gives them the confidence that they can educate and they can share and they can be seen as a leader. And that does build their confidence and build their loyalty to you and to Young Living. Remember that they need to be able to see behind the curtain of what you're doing, because everything that we do duplicates out. So if my brand partners on my team never saw anything that I did, they would just assume that you could just enroll people and, put them in the Facebook group and, hope for the best and hope that they keep ordering. But I give them a peek behind the curtain. I'll go into our group chat and I'll show them my stack of postcards and I'll say, oh, I'm just sitting in the car line and I'm catching up on my postcards this week. Do y'all have any postcards that you need to send out? And I'm not telling them to send out postcards to their customers to thank them for loyalty, but I'm showing them what I'm doing, and showing them helps duplicate out what you're doing, and they continue to serve their team as well. It's such a great reminder for me. So often I do the things and I'm doing my tasks and I'm working on enrolling new people, and I forget to include my brand partners in on the conversation. So it's important to remind them of what you're doing. My friend April, she's also platinum. She does a gorgeous job of doing this. When she teaches a class, after the class, she'll come back to her leader group and she'll say, guys, I just taught the best oils and beads class. And we talked about, all the oils in the starter bundle. And you know what? I have the script right here. Here it is. I'm going to hand you the script, and let's go ahead and get out your calendar and put it on the calendar. And if you want some help, I'll help you teach this class. So being an example, leading by example is really helpful. And I've noticed that being predictable in what I do has really helped my brand partners know how to follow the lead. Because if I'm going to change up my methods every single month, and maybe one month I'm posting everything on Instagram, but I'm not checking in with other people in our Facebook group, or I'm doing in-person classes and then I just abandon the in-person classes, or maybe I do Zoom calls and I'm like, okay, guys, we're going to do a monthly Zoom call or a weekly Zoom call, and then I abandon that. They don't know how to follow that. So being consistent and being predictable in what you offer your team is a really important way to have brand partners who buy into what you're doing and feel confident to be able to duplicate that. Otherwise, they're just scrambling because frankly, you're just scrambling. And I have been guilty of that in the past. And so I'm really conscious of making sure that my brand partners know that we have systems in place and we do these things every month, and we have these classes and we have these Zoom calls. And this Monday night Ignite has been such a great resource to be able to plug our people into, and it's consistent and it's predictable, and it's something that we know that we can always show up for. So April and I actually did take these systems and we put them into a package called, what do we call it? Empowered Leaders. And it's a PDF. It's in Oil Supply Store. But again, we wanted our brand partners to know the important things to remember to do every month, like checking in on, I didn't even talk about this, checking in on missed subscription orders. A lot of times people's subscription orders don't go through and they don't even know it, because there's not actually an email that goes out to them that their order didn't go through. In Young Living, we've asked them for that. That would be great. But so it's up to us to let them know, hey, your order didn't go through. They appreciate that. You help them fix it. Again, more loyalty is built. So we have this resource put together. It has a calendar of things that you would do weekly, monthly, beginning of the month, end of the month. And we also have scripts that go with it. So a lot of times we have found from our brand partners that they don't know what to say. They feel awkward and they need a little bit of guidance. And so we have wording for the text message for reaching out to somebody whose order was missing, or we have wording for sending out a postcard to thank people for their order, just to help get the ball rolling and get you comfortable sharing those things. So we do have that bundle in Oil Supply Store. It's complementary to this content. It's just the things that we've been doing over the last few years that have helped our business stay sustainable and to have our systems in place so that we can spend most of our time doing other things and growing our business, and not just kind of catching things as they fall between the cracks. So I have a couple of reflection questions for you before we finish up. Number one, do you have an onboarding system? Do you have resources that you put into your new members' hands when they join, whether they're virtual or real paper resources? Remember that you're the person they enrolled with. So offering those things is crucial for building loyalty. Do they know how to connect with your team resources? And then do you provide education opportunities regularly for your customers or your prospects? Or do you just rely on your uplines resources? Remember that you're the person that they enrolled with. And then if someone was watching you run your business? Would they be able to describe your habits as consistent and predictable, or all over the place and inconsistent? And what's one step you can take to be more consistent and predictable in this next month? And then my last question, are you doing Rise to Rank just for the prize or to build a sustainable business? That is a big question that I'm finding is really showing and telling of where we are. And I cannot wait to see all these leaders grow up out of Rise to Rank and all of the new silvers and executives who are growing sustainable businesses and changing the world with our products. So that's all I had for you guys tonight. I hope this was helpful. And I loved getting to chat with you, and I appreciate all of your time. And I hope you have a great night.
Julie, thank you so much. This is just fabulous information. And I have always valued, like yourself, to reach out to people when their orders, you know, if it's 98 or if it's 180 or, you know, whatever it is, if it's $20 short, then we've always like reached out to them through text, calling. My husband would help with this, or send an email and letting them know how short they are and what gift they would be receiving, or the gifts with purchase, we call them now. And so people have always been so appreciative of that. And I know that one time one of the leaders who was looking at my group helping me out, and she said, for a diamond, you don't have that many people in your organization. And so I contribute that to the loyalty of so many of the people in my group. It's been 14 years. They've been ordering since day one, and it's just such a blessing. And I'm so glad you said your call how you did today, because I really want to reach out and use the word loyalty, because I haven't really used that, but that's what it is. So I love all your back end office, and a lot of people don't think that's important, but it really is important, because why would we want them to not get that, or their order didn't process? And when I first started doing that, it was like 6 years ago, I think, or maybe a little bit more. We had like 800 orders that didn't go through a month, or so it was, whatever it was something outrageous. And now it's never, if it gets to like 60, I'm like freaking out. So it's like, it's really been a blessing to help support people in the back end like that. And once again, remember, all these calls are recorded. They're going to be recorded by Friday on the Grow group. And that's Jill On-Call's group and her team group. And so it's just amazing resource as well. And one other thing, Julie, I love that you said, is that you said, I said you're a platinum with Young Living, because that's the rank that you've hit highest. And you said, well, I fluctuate between that and a gold. And I remember back in the day when we'd stand up on stage and say, we're this, that, you know, whatever. I felt very obligated to say that, you know, I'm a gold, or I'm a silver, or whatever rank I was at the time. And if I hadn't been hitting it consistently for a long period of time, then I would state that. And it wasn't always favorable to do so per the leaders at hand, because they didn't think that was right. We should encourage people for what we are, what rank we are. But like, I didn't even hit it every month, you know what I mean? And so I would share anyhow with what rank I was, even if it wasn't what someone wanted me to say. And it really helped to encourage other people as well, because like I've hit diamond 6 months, but I haven't hit it the other months. And so, and I'm not ashamed to say I'm thankful. I'm sorry that we had COVID, but I'm like a COVID diamond. And so, but I'm thankful to be a COVID diamond. So I'm not complaining. And of course I want to maintain that and help out with it, but I'm blessed either way. And I just love Young Living and all these diehard Young Living people that are on this call. And I just thank you for all your words that you shared. And it's not about, to me, it's not about a rank. It sounds like it's not for you as well. It's about helping and serving the people and making sure they have the information that they need to help be successful for themselves and their family to maintain health and wellness. So, and also obviously the benefit for having Young Living as an income. Our family has been sustained through Young Living since 2010, when my husband's job decided as a TV station stopped, you know, overnight. And so since that time, 2 children, all that kind of stuff, college, whatnot, and Young Living has supported our family. So it's something that's definitely a viable option for anyone, but you got to put the work in, and the work isn't always easy in the beginning. But with these systems that you're talking about, it's going to be a much easier deal than what we had back in the day, especially when I first started, which was a long time ago. So I do thank you. Jill, did you have anything you want to say? No? Okay.
No, you're good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. This will be in the Grow Group by Friday, and just have a blessed night. And thank you so much, Julie, for speaking, and Doug, if you're still on. Thank you so much.